Morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome to our countdown to the election. 48 days. We started with 100
48
days.
days?
Oh, 58.
I
Sorry,
don't know.
58?
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God. No, I'm confused.
I think 48 is right.
I think 48 might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting close. And, we're. Last night was also the full moon.
Oh, yeah.
The full moon of Elul, which means in one cycle of the moon,
Yeah.
we'll be at Sukkot. In one cycle of the moon,
And
we'll
then-
be through the holidays.
Then you'll have to tell us what you know.
Right.
Because
Because
that's when
something
what's
will be
drawn
revealed.
down.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
What's drawn down that is new
Mm.
is articulate.
The Nistar is Nigle.
On
The hidden is revealed.
Sukkot. So we can't say too much about that
Can't
right now
say.
because it precedes the actual
Can I say one
events.
thing about the moon, though, that I've been thinking
Yeah.
about? So, the thing that
I'm going to
makes.
accompany you with some oud.
Okay, that'd be great. So, the thing that makes the moon full, right? And last night was just a spectacular moon. It was a magical moon. The thing that makes the moon appear to be full is when it is in perfect alignment with the light of the sun, which means it's pure bittul. It's pure giving itself over to receive another light completely. It gives itself over. It's pure humility. Pure humility. And less self, but more God on the full moon.
You sound like the Sfas Samus's grandfather now.
Is that what he says?
I'm going to give that teaching over tonight in my class.
Oh, good. Well, I love the Sfat Emet, and I probably would have loved his grandfather, but I was thinking about that last night. How that moon.
Well, he cites it. He says, I learned this from my grandfather.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. How wonderful. It's Sfat Emet is a beautiful commentary on Torah because, he's a mystic and he says that everything is one and everything can be contained in the light inside. In the light, in that one spark of light. As long as you have that one pintle, that one little spark of light, know that everything you need is contained in it. And all you have to do then is grow the light to have your hope back, to have your meaning back, to have your life back, and in spite of all of the things that life puts before us in this very, very imperfect world. So I love the full moon, and from this moon to the next, we have a lot to go through. We have Rosh Hashanah, we have Yom Kippur, we have October 7th. We have a lot to go through. But trust that from this moon to the next full moon, as Jim says, something new will be revealed.
Drawn down. You draw down something new into the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
We're citing our sources, our roots, and our wings.
Yeah, here's one.
So we're dealing with, we bring something from our man Luzzatto.
Right, he's taken us through
Mesilat
watchfulness, passion, and cleanliness. He's taken us through the first three practices, awarenesses that help us get a little bit closer to being the kind of people we really want to be.
Yeah, I'll make sure they're picking us up here. Yep, okay, good. All right, yeah.
So you want to read a piece?
Yeah.
So
Let me finish with Luzzatto's story a little bit.
Oh, okay, great.
Because every day I gave over a little bit more.
Right.
The Ramchal, Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, one of the sources that we cite.
Italiano.
And the sources, his story is interesting and difficult. So he had this teacher that he was connected with. Remember, he was in Venice.
Mm-hmm.
He came from Padua. And the rabbis of Venice taught his teacher, his name was Bassani.
Mm-hmm.
trying to distance Luzzatto from the study of Kabbalah, which he picked up in Bassani's library.
Right.
And he was intrigued by it. He was enchanted by it. By the time he was 14, he had memorized all the works of the Holy Ari.
Right.
And so what they did was, but it was too close to the Shabtai Tzvi and all that business. So they tried to distance Luzzatto from the study of Kabbalah, and they actually locked his writings in a casket. And this, you can't make this stuff up.
Can't really make that up.
Bassani
Oh my
held
God.
one key, and the rabbis of Venice had the other key.
Wow.
And they gave the title rabbi to Luzzatto anyway, providing he would behave himself.
Which meant he wouldn't
Yeah,
teach, study or teach Kabbalah.
So he wrote more poetry.
Wow.
He married the daughter of the rabbi of Mantua. He went into business with his relatives. That's probably what I should have done.
not with my side.
But the lure of the Kabbalah was too strong. He began to write Kabbalistic treatises again. So his teacher Bassani said, I'm not gonna monitor him any longer. And the rabbis of Venice denounced him formally.
Oh.
He refused to accept and impose silence of his writings and publishings, and they actually put a cherem on him
Wow.
in
Wow.
1734, the 6 rabbis of Venice.
For studying, for
So,
teaching truth. Right?
Luzzatto felt compelled to leave Italy.
Mhm.
And he'd been abandoned by everyone except his teacher Bassani. So where did he go? He went to Amsterdam. And he was further humiliated on the way in Frankfurt, where he was forced to sign a pledge not to return to those studies, nor to write, nor to publish until he was 40. And only if he was in the Holy Land, among the company of people of substance and experience. So he surrendered his works to the rabbis, and even after that humiliation, he was welcomed into Amsterdam with honor. And the Sephardic community there offered him a position, but he preferred to support himself independently, as Maimonides suggested. Don't make a living out of this. There's a lot of good idea in that. And he made his living grinding lenses like Spinoza did. He took on private students. And his wife, his son, his parents came there. And in his correspondence with his pupils, he urged them to continue their studies of Kabbalah. And his teacher, Bassani, was accused of opening the locked casket. Legend has it was guarded by a cherub.
You can't make that up.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's great.
And in another account, Bassani sent the locked casket with Luzzatto's works in it to Prague, where they were opened and given back to Luzzatto.
Wow.
So he lived quietly in Amsterdam for 10 years, where he wrote many of his best-known works, especially the one that we cite here, Mesilat Yesharim, the path of the straight ahead,
Wow.
1740.
Wow.
He was nearing 40,
Wow.
and the formal period of his renunciation of Kabbalah was coming close to an end. He felt drawn to go to the Holy Land. He made a long and difficult trip with his wife and son.
Mm.
Arrived in Sfat in 1747. He wrote to his students in Padua his dreams and plans. He was 40 years old. They all got plague. And Luzzatto died in Acco,
Wow.
May 6th, 1747.
Oh.
He's buried in Tiberias, near Rabbi Akiva. I am always with you, he told his students, and he was never abandoned by his teacher.
Wow.
But you go look, if you get to Venice someday, go to the ghetto.
Right.
You'll see the Scola Luzzatto, family Luzzatto, their school in the ghetto on the square there.
Mm.
And remember him, say a holy prayer in his behalf. So that's his story. Yes, and so we cite him, and I'll give over something.
Yeah.
This is from Sfas Emes. Really, it's called "What We Know About Beginnings and Ends." The smart ones knew about the chambers of the heart. There's a life force, a point existing within. This is Svasanas.
Mm-hmm.
The life force within every living thing. When we know it, we enter and meet there. Glued to this point, bonded, one soul wound up with another. I belong to you, you belong to me.
Mm.
God, the river flowing through. Rest within your heart lines. Say, I am to each other. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, amen, amen.
Amen. Amen. So this wonderful image of that, the fullness of the moon, which is, kind of the end. It looks so bright and full. And yet it only can be that way when it gives itself over completely to the light of the sun.
I'll bring down the stories, of the images about the moon next week.
Okay.
So we'll get into that.
Yeah.
No.
As we get closer.
Because we're almost there.
Yeah. We're
The
almost
moon
there.
is the image of this time of year.
Right.
We should read a little Isaiah before we stop.
Right.
So we're in the 5th week of consolation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Remember the ratio: 3 weeks of deep sadness in the summer, 7 weeks to recover.
Mm. Yeah. Right.
Of course, the ratio is really much more steep than that is.
That's for sure.
But this is in the 5th week. Isaiah has messages for us. I took his imagery, his language, and filtered it. What moved me in his messages of comfort every week. This is the 5th week. And this is what we started with. We felt we're in the narrows.
That's right.
In this period. I've felt the squeeze. Sing out of your narrows, such optimism in that. And also reality-based. We're in those narrows. Sing out of your narrows. Lay out a tent secured with tent pegs and lines. Lay it out in pleasant places. Spread it out nightly. You will not be shamed. Remember, then forget the shame of your youth. We both blinked for a moment. I think here we both blinked our past and our present, the shame of our youth. That's the way I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
We both blinked for a moment. The waters of Noah have passed. I have sworn on the mountains and hills the covenant of peace. Say ciao, little babies. Thanks for joining us. This is, we'll be here tomorrow, right? God willing?
God willing.
Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, we'll be here.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you, as they say.
Okay.